The creativity, know-how, technology, and financial resources from all of society is necessary to achieve the SDGs in every context. And at DAV, we believe that emerging technologies such as data science, AI, IoT, when used for making data-driven decisions, when combined with social and environmental aspects, can really accelerate the achievement of the global goals. So our goal is to run a week-long high-impact event, bringing together visionaries, practitioners, decision makers, and researchers in the domain of data science to explore synergies between them. Like I mentioned, last year we did it in Hyderabad, and we had more than 200 participants, expert and curated keynote speakers, and we had a substantial representation from the public and private sector along with academia.
Matter of great joy to be present during the second edition of the Indo Data Week. I remember the event last year. I myself had attended the inaugural session then as well, and I had greatly benefited from learning from other speakers, listening to other speakers, and keeping track in general of all the wonderful things that were accomplished last year. I'm very happy that despite the current situation around us, the organizers have gone ahead and created this virtual platform to have this event. And in no way has the quality of the deliberations, the quality of the programs come down because of this platform. So credit goes to the organizers for designing and constructing this event with so much of thought and care. As usual, as was done last year as well, Government of Telangana is very happy to be a partner, and because it is the concept of the program, the Indo Data Week, is extremely closely aligned with what we ourselves do in Telangana, and therefore, when this kind of a proposal comes before us to support or partner and all, I mean, it doesn't take more than a minute for us to say yes, because as I said, the priorities of the Government of Telangana's Government of Telangana and the Indo Data Week is they are kind of so well aligned. We are also very happy to be the main sponsors of the hackathon, which will be happening, I guess, starting from day after tomorrow. And the problem which we have posed, which Parvathy mentioned briefly, is focused on climate resilient food security. We all know that amongst the multiple global challenges, this is one challenge on which, of course, there has been a tremendous advancement of knowledge in the last, let us say, couple of decades or so. But we have still not been able to reach a level of perfect solution. So this kind of a challenge, I'm sure, will spur lots of professionals, academicians, technologists, even startup students to seriously look at the resources that are available, the factors related to soil health, biodiversity, related to land change, land degradation, pollution, unsustainable farming, etc., etc. And amidst all these challenges, how do we protect, manage, and restore soil health and reap the ecosystem service benefits? So, particularly in a peri-urban area context. In fact, all of us know about our country in India also, that lands available, farmlands available for cultivation are shrinking rapidly because of this urbanization pressure. And therefore, peri-urban areas become very important for providing food security, at least to the huge majority of people who live in the city. So how do we maintain healthy soils to support plant growth and productivity, etc., to regulate carbon cycle, improve biodiversity, is definitely a very important priority. And multiple SDGs are linked with it. So I'm glad that this statement has been taken up as the basic problem statement for the hackathon. And I look forward to getting some very bright ideas. And as I said, we support it because we believe that whatever good ideas come out of it, we will be able to try them out, we'll be able to pilot them. And if the results are encouraging, hopefully they can be scaled up in, first of all, the state of Telangana completely. And then we may be able to guide other states, other countries also to look at these. Agriculture in general has been a very important priority focus for us, particularly in the last 10 months or 11 months of this year. from 1st January onwards, we started commemorating 2020 as the year of AI. While so many other gloomy things are happening in this year, but at least our AI focus for this particular year is on track. We have, while there has been some minor setbacks due to the lockdown and travel restrictions, etc. But by and large, whatever we had visualized on 1st of January, we have been able to achieve all that. And as I mentioned, we have given a huge focus on agriculture activities as a part of this year of AI framework. And within agriculture also, creation of data sets is a very critical pillar. In fact, as a part of our AI framework, creation of data sets is considered to be a very, very important priority, which the government has to take the lead, because of the fact that we ourselves, the government itself, owns humongous amounts of data. And if tomorrow AI and social innovation using AI has to be carried out, we have to make these data sets, first of all, readable, intelligent, and then make available and accessible to people so that they are able to write algorithms and codes, etc. So as I was mentioning, the AI year in Telangana focuses on agriculture, and we have created a very tailored program for it, which is called AI for AI, which in other words stands for Artificial Intelligence for Agriculture Innovation. And again, multiple SDGs get addressed using that focus. This is a program for which we have multiple partners, and one of the foremost partner is the World Economic Forum, who are supporting Telangana government to pilot a decision support system for agriculture officials, the agriculture department folks, as well as farmers. And again, we deploy lots of predictive tools of AI, ML, etc. Utilize disparate data inputs from technologies like IoT, satellites, drones, and all the on-field ground truthing is happening with the help of our agriculture university, the state government's own agriculture university. So it, in some ways, is a first of its kind unified architecture for all the relevant technologies. They are all kind of converging, and hopefully once we are able to showcase the positive results, we will be able to scale it up nationally, because the Ministry of Agriculture also has a very strong digital focus. They are also collaborating with us. And as you know, the national goal is to double farmers' income. So we are confident that using technologies, we will be able to show how doubling of farmer income becomes a faster and a easier process. And some of the use cases that we have taken up in our AI for AI initiative, one is about sowing window prediction. As we know, farmers typically start sowing after the onset of rains, but data shows that there is again some precision in that. There is a particular window which is considered to be best if you are able to improve your, if you are able to target that window, your productivity goes up, pest attack goes down, and so on and so forth. So how can data guide us which is the best sowing window? Similarly, pest incidents, typically in India and also in Telangana in particular, the crops which are commonly grown see lots of pest attacks, and can data guide us on predicting these pest attacks so that early warning is utilized to take precautionary measures. Crop area estimation is also very important, because that will help us in planning what kind of market arrivals will happen, what kind of procurement infrastructure needs to be readied, etc. Similarly, crop yield forecast is again a very important area where data plays a very important role. And similarly, just as we have a model of predicting the sowing window, there is a model for predicting the harvest window also, and the harvest rate as well, which again helps in advanced planning for the machinery and data requirement, etc., etc. So the point which I'm trying to make is that there are multiple areas in agriculture where systematic use of data and developing these kind of predictive tools will help everyone, will help in managing the resources more optimally, will help in getting the officials involved in agriculture work be better prepared. And obviously, this will be a very important tool for the farmers themselves. We also have other partners who are supporting us. So we are working, as I mentioned earlier, with our state agriculture university in creating a data hub. We all know that huge masses of data are available, but there is right now no great quality of standardization. So this standardization program is being implemented with the help of the local agriculture university, but the Department of Science and Technology of Government of India is also supporting it, and the partner academic institution for that is Triple IT Hyderabad. So Triple IT Hyderabad has set up a technology innovation hub where the focus will be on multiple other things as well, but agriculture is one very important priority, where the problem statements related to sowing intelligence, market intelligence, crop health monitoring, irrigation management, etc., will be taken up. Similarly, we have set up the World Economic Forum has a dedicated institution called C4IR, Center for Fourth Industrial Revolution, and there as well we have set up a working group on data-driven agriculture, which also is going to work on the specific problems of lack of data or lack of organized data, which can be of use for agriculture planning and agriculture activities. And again, many team members from Telangana government are participating in it. How to ensure that databases are democratic, how they are accessible to everyone. We already have state government of Telangana is one of the very few states which has a dedicated policy on open data. We have an open data policy and an open data portal on which we have made available lots of databases available with the government and partners of the government. But we are very keen that we ensure that data flows which are relevant for solving complex problems, complex challenges are made available. And we have started working on this open data platform with the help of a NASSCOM task force. NASSCOM, for those who do not know, is the premier industry body of the IT industry here in India. And the first use case that we have taken up on the open data platform is a agri fintech project, alternate approaches to agri credit assessment and viability for small and marginal farmers. If you interact with Indian farmers, one of the biggest challenges they speak about is lack of adequate credit and timely credit. So how does one ensure that credit flow to small and marginal farmers in particular improves by having data-based assessment done on time? So with the help of NASSCOM members, the Telangana government is working on this particular challenge. The Center for Fourth Industrial Revolution has also invited the Telangana government to be a partner for a very important global initiative which they are launching, which is called Data for Common Purpose Initiative, DCPI. And this is at an initial stage, but it is built on the belief that data policy can also be very, very useful for achieving common purposes, which incidentally is the theme of our Indo Data week also. So as I said, there are multiple initiatives in which we as Telangana government are involved, and therefore we see events like the Indo Data week a very naturally well aligned and a very useful platform for all of us to sharpen our own ideas, design better programs, and achieve better results in all these kind of initiatives that we are embarking upon. I would once again like to congratulate the organizers for creating a very wholesome kind of a structured program during this week. As Parvathy mentioned, while the conference starts now, we have already had master classes for the last 2 days, and day after tomorrow, the very important hackathon, which we are supporting and sponsoring, that will start. So I look forward to getting very good insights on some of the major challenges which are being faced in the world that the SDGs intend to address, and how can data become a very important tool, and better data and well analyzed data become a very important tool to getting some of these SDGs off the ground very, very quickly. So once again, good wishes, and hope to have very useful and productive sessions in the remaining 4 days. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Parvathy, and it's very much an honor for me to participate. I've only been with Pulse Lab Jakarta for a bit over a year now, so it's been a fascinating process or journey in joining the Pulse Lab Jakarta team. So first, I'd like to say a big congratulations to you and other members of the Indo Data Week committee for pulling off this forum, particularly in the midst of the pandemic. And so thank you for this opportunity to participate in this important event. Distinguished speakers and participants, I was thinking about COVID-19, and one of the hashtags that I really like that's emerged from COVID-19 is, I'm sure you're familiar with, is that hashtag Build Back Better. And so in our work at the UN Pulse Lab Jakarta, we see that COVID-19 has really highlighted what needs to be in place, what partnerships, what collaborations is important, and importantly, why a healthy data ecosystem is critical to address crises of such a scale, not only in terms of the impact on human lives, but also, the widespread or reach of this virus. In Indonesia itself, we've had, as you know, a lot of natural disasters and emergencies, but the nature of these emergencies and disasters were isolated to particular regions or provinces of Indonesia. And so in the past, I feel our general practice would be to fly in teams to support the local government, collect and update data, and implement various measures to address the disaster. But looking at COVID-19 and its rapid spread across the whole archipelago here, it's meant that usual practices that we have done in the past can no longer be implemented effectively. We can't be flying in teams because it's everywhere, and so we've then become more reliant on distribution of capacity and the strength of our data ecosystem across Indonesia. And so I feel COVID-19 for us has really highlighted the gaps in our data ecosystem and what needs to be addressed and what needs to be built back better. We've had many prototypes, as Parvathy was saying. Pulse Lab Jakarta has existed since 2012, and in that time we've developed a range of partnerships and produced over 100 different types of prototypes to be used in development and in humanitarian action. But what we've seen is also that although we have these prototypes and innovations in looking at a crisis of this nature and of this scale, it then becomes highlighted the underlying protocols and agreements that really needs to be in place. And unfortunately, although generating a lot of interest in data innovations, some of the important underlying procedures or agreements were not in place. And in the midst of a pandemic, it's really highlighted the difficulty to be able to progress agreements, and that such agreements, such protocols, such procedures really need to be in place prior to an emergency. And so it's been, so I guess in looking for a silver lining from COVID-19, it really is critically important for us to take stock on what are those underlying measures, what are the partnerships, what are the policies and protocols that need to be in place, so we can build back better and avoid, or at least learn a lot of lessons to be applied moving forward. Particularly that understanding that possible crises of this nature will occur in the future. So again, going beyond and what are the new, what are the wonderful, wonderful things that we can do, and launch in response to COVID-19, how can we collectively think about what is also required? What can we do to strengthen the underlying ecosystem so we can really build back better? I was listening to Mr. Jayesh Ranjan and just amazed at the various initiatives that you've undertaken. And I feel this really emphasizes the importance of this sort of forum where we can, from my perspective, gain South-South perspectives on what is possible in much more similar contexts and facing, I think, similar type of ecosystemic issues and conditions. And so I feel approaches, solutions that we are able to develop and able to share with each other are possibly more applicable in our nations. And so this really, again, highlights the importance of this forum and hopefully the relationships that that are developed and which can extend beyond these sessions. So again, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for inviting us to participate in this forum, and I look forward to the discussions today. Thank you.
So dear dignitaries, audience, I hope all of you had a very festive Diwali weekend. This festival of lights and sound, it's all about reinforcing the power of positivity and prosperity in our lives. For many of us, this actually brings us back to nostalgic memories. The childhood times that we spent with our own families, the cheerful neighborhood, the very colorful environment, all of these memories come back to us. And we strive to carry the tradition forward of spreading cheer, positivity, and prosperity. Very clearly, this joy that comes as part of these festivals, it's just not by being alone. It is about taking care of just not one's own self, but by traversing beyond the boundaries, caring for others, doing our tiny bit for the benefit of others. And the smile that we get at the end of it, I think nothing can match the happiness and the satisfaction that we get at the end of it. I remember, growing up as a small girl, my grandma used to take special interest in introducing me to different kinds of subjects. She was a very accomplished teacher with expertise in a lot of areas, all the way from Sanskrit to geography. And she was taking me through this one particular session on fire. She was articulating how fire, when used in the right moderate quantities, would be so useful to us. But when it went out of control, how it could be so destructive. Just like fire, I'm sure at some point I would tell my granddaughter how technology, when it is used in the right moderate fashion, it could be so useful to us, but it could be so destructive if it is not consciously kept under our control. So I think these are nothing but magic wands that we have with us. At CISCO Launchpad, the techno business startup accelerator at CISCO, we're so privileged to use this magic wand called technology to do our tiny bit for the sake of communities around us. Combining the power of technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship, it might sound the right and the perfect recipe, just like your sweets that you had made for the Diwali weekend. I'm sure the power of technology plus innovation plus entrepreneurship sounds like the perfect recipe. But let me tell you, just like the Diwali story, there is no joy in just having it all alone. The pleasure and the true outcomes manifest only by partnering with organizations that have the right mind share. This is why we at Launchpad are so happy to be here as part of the Indo Data Week. amidst the thought leaders, amidst the thinkers, doers, and the innovators. So I strongly feel that this is a very, very important and a fantastic initiative, not just to talk and leave, but to dwell on the thought processes around sustainable development goals. To co-create responsible business practices, to design and implement the inclusive business models, basically do anything and everything that it takes to bring SDGs to the limelight. Since 2016, we at CISCO Launchpad have been very fortunate to work in the intersection space of the startups and corporates. We have been propelling areas all the way from space tech to mining to agriculture to retail, name the use case. We are so fortunate to have been part of some of the journey along with the startups that we mentor. It's all about doing our tiny bit to extend quality care and access to the unconnected world. Let me share a couple of examples with you. Take the case of our portfolio startup, Bangalore-based Testlon. Their product is called Care Nation, where the whole idea is to increase the speed of care delivery by augmenting every facet of screening to isolation to remote monitoring. Very relevant in the scenario today. But this is totally built on CISCO collaboration. The telehealth solution from Testlon, it allows the doctors to monitor, consult, and advise patients remotely. This is very relevant in the broader context of the UN's Sustainability Development Goals. Especially, I think it's the SDG 3, which pertains to good health and well-being. Today, they are at the fore, helping our COVID warriors, doctors, and care providers across the country. I was so pleased to hear what Sri Jayesh talked about in the areas of agriculture. This has long been the core of the Indian economy. And it is very heartening to see that the government policies are now so conducive. The government is putting the all-in kind of an efforts to bring the power back to the agricultural economy. I'm so happy. Thank you so much, sir. At CISCO, we are also happy to join with you on this bandwagon. In fact, when one of the portfolio startups, SatSure, came across, they were using satellite technologies to help the farmers. They are also part of our portfolio at Launchpad, and they are on board on the World Economic Forum innovators community as well. So this was a huge opportunity to use satellite technologies, not only to power the farming fraternity, but also to give them the credit that they duly deserve. All of this powered by the right kinds of data. So we're not risking any of the parties here. We are placing each of them, right from the farmers to the bankers to the end consumers, at a very comfortable position, all backed by a solid foundation called data. And connectivity. Without connectivity, there is no use having playing in silos. So I think data and connectivity are two truly instrumental parties, entities in this process of transformation that we are currently part of. So you may ask me, why are we doing this? What's in it for us at CISCO in doing all of these? Of course, we are part of the bigger community. Accelerating the achievement of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and addressing the skill gaps is very critical. And we duly recognize that. So by expanding the focus of our joint initiative to encompass the startups that have innovative and disruptive solutions, we are able to scale the impact to improve how people live and work around us. So we at Cisco have been continuing to do whatever we can to reduce our carbon footprint, all the way from using, solar powered electricity to responsible waste disposal, all of that, and on our product engineering as well. And this accelerator medium is also giving us an extra arm. It is giving us an extra opportunity to inspire these startups to embed environmental sustainability into their DNA. So to team Parvathy and the Indo Data Week team, I'm so thankful for your very conscious thought processes around propelling the SDGs using data as a key tool. And I would like to wish them the best in their endeavors. So signing off with a very favorite quote of Helen Keller that's very relevant today. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Thank you.
Hey, Indo Data Week. This is Elke. I'm logging in from Costa Rica. Not real time. I'm sending you a recorded message due to time zone incompatibility. I wanted to send you a warm welcome and greet you to the conference, day number 1. I'm part of the core team. I worked for the past months with Mahdi and Parvathy, just organizing and curating the panels, and just creating this visionary event, which was started by Parvathy and Mahdi last year. I've learned so much from the process so far, just from Googling the India context all the way to having the bilateral meetings with speakers. So I'm really excited for today, where we actually converge at all the ideas, all the knowledge sharing, and the values dissemination. I do want to say, still an invitation is pending. I do want to join Indo Data Week 2021 or 2022, whichever is physical and comes first. So I just, my final words is just have fun in the conference. Hope you enjoy, and let's talk some data and SDGs. Ciao.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Mahdi. Thank you, Parvathy, for the introduction, and thanks to all of the participants here, and also everyone who addressed the inauguration for Indo Data Week. I really like the quote by Mr. Jayesh that he said that it took 1 minute to say yes to Parvathy for Indo Data Week. More than 1.5 years back, Parvathy also told me that let's do Indo Data Week and converge data science and SDGs in an event. It also took 1 minute for me to say yes. So it was very pleased for me to join and help Parvathy to organize such an event. So as a person who is data scientist, who is working on different projects, and I like to have my hands dirty on data and code everything and then analyze. But always I'm thinking about how can I bring my knowledge, how can I bring my skills to society. So SDG is one of the good example of collaboration that people can gather together and use their knowledge in something good for society and the global in general. So thank you again, Parvathy, for inviting me in the first place. And thanks for all the enjoyment that we had last year in the Hyderabad, very beautiful city. So it's not a good thing that we are doing this online, but of course, it's very good that we still trying to keep this Indo Data Week every year. So this is my address, Parvathy. So I will pass it to you.